Do battle this round in our feature match area to kick off Standard here at World Championship 30. We have Kenta Harane versus Derrick Davis, Demir Midrange versus Gruul Prowess. Both of these players currently sitting at 2-1. Kenta Harane there, one top finish to his name, a regional champion at Nagoya, and a 2017 World Magic Cup champion with Team Japan. Up against Derrick Davis on Gruul Prowess, top 8 at Pro Tour Phyrexia with a 60% win rate in Constructed this season. Those are the players, Monty, but what about these decks in our first round of Standard?
All right, well, our first look of Standard is two of the top decks, the two most played decks, and we are going to start with Kenta's deck. This is Demir Midrange. This, to me, almost feels like a spiritual successor of the Esper Midrange deck that we are so used to seeing. It's quick to the ground, but it also has a lot of staying power. The big headliner card for this deck is the new Enduring Curiosity. This card is absolutely incredible in power level, just being a 4-mana flash card that gives you that much value in the Coastal Piracy effect to follow all of these cheap pieces of interaction as well as creatures. It's just made a great headlining effect to this deck, and I do have to shout out Kaido Bane of Nightmares as well, as this is a very pushed Planeswalker in what it can do, and adding that ninjutsu ability onto it is really nice for a deck like this that has so many cheap creatures that also have effects that you would love to rebuy. On the other side, of course, Derrick Davis is playing the deck of the room so far. The most played deck, though maybe not the best one, that is yet to be determined, is Gruul Prowess. And this deck is really taking advantage of the very powerful mice that were introduced in Bloomburrow, being able to have Heartfire Hero, Manifold Mouse, and Emberheart Challenger, as well as Might of the Meek in your spell package. Really nice addition. This deck's goal is all about going fast and having those explosive turns that are taking advantage of the prowess and valiant abilities. Now, this version of the deck is a bit slower than the Leyline version that we've been seeing so far, but what it gives up in explosiveness, it does gain in resilience, and this deck is definitely going to be one to watch out for, as if you're not prepared, it can close out games really quickly.
Absolutely. In this matchup, Monty, what do you like?
I think I'm going to go with the unproven so far Demir deck. I think this deck is an absolute nightmare to play against, and I'm really excited to see whether it can prove that it has the good Gruul matchup that people think it does.
All right, well, a nightmare sounds pretty good here in Duskmorn. It's time for Standard and round number 4. I'm going to pass it on over to Ailey and Corey in the booth.
Thank you so much, Maria. Welcome to Constructed Play, everybody. It is Standard. It is Duskmorn Standard. We said goodbye to a whole bunch of familiars that we just didn't want to see anymore.
Yeah, get out of here, Rafine.
Yeah. Go away, Wandering Emperor. No one likes you when there's 4 mana open and, you flash it. Yeah. Anyway, it's none of that anymore. Well, at least we hope not.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm looking forward to this matchup, Corey. What do you expect we'll see? Gruul Prowess, Demir Midrange.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the story of the weekend. Did the Gruul Prowess players get it right? Is this the deck that is just so good that all these decks that are gunning to beat it just doesn't really matter? Or are the decks that are trying to beat it, are they good enough? So I think it's going to be really interesting. I need to see this Gruul Prowess deck actually get beat before I start counting it out, because I think this deck is extremely strong.
I love this deck. I hope we get to see the Leyline of Resonance version on camera too, because a turn 2 win, that sounds pretty fun.
Yeah.
Say so myself.
Only 3 players that registered it so far, just the 12 copies of it in the entire tournament. So yeah, not a lot of players.
Heartfire Hero to kick things off, and as your Beast Binder in response from Kenta Harane, qualified via the Japanese Regional Championship. And fun little fact here, Derrick Davis has made all 3 day 2s this season so far.
Such a good, consistent player. And so far, he's 2 and Simon Nielsen, which is going to be a lot of players' record so far, as, not a lot of people have been beating him. That was his loss round number 1, and then rattled off 2 more.
Select shot show off
19
on the board now here as well for Derrick Davis. So pretty much an ideal start.
Yep.
2 creatures down. Preacher of the Schism hits the board now for Kenta.
Now this is the big turn here from these Gruul Prowess decks. When you untap with Slick Shot Show Off, this is the turn where you could just win the game with a couple of pump spells. Now we do see Derrick Davis doesn't necessarily have that type of draw, has a lot of creatures in hand plus the shock. But this is the really
Ooh.
scary turn for Kenta.
Okay, so 2 slick shot show-offs now. Come on, swinging in.
2-2-1. Yes.
So has the shock to be able to essentially deal 6 damage. 1 mana deal 6 with the 2 pumps to be able to get a bunch of damage through. And shock is fine in the matchup. It's not amazing. So we might just see Derrick fire it off here. But looks like he has a Might of the Meek as well, which seems a lot better.
Those combats. Derrick
Here,
going
trigger
for
value.
Might of the Meek.
Draw
Oh, excuse me,
card.
this is in combat?
Yeah.
Take 5.
In combat, take 5.
20.
Ouch.
14. Yep. Go.
Big chunk of damage, courtesy of the 2 birds.
Yeah, and
Our hero grows.
now being able to draw a card off your pump spells and stuff, this just really shows the resilience of these Gruul decks. You know, you just don't need to be all in with the leyline plan anymore. You can just play this slowish game. You don't have to win the game on turn 2. If you win the game on turn 4 versus winning the game on turn 2, well, you still win the game, so it doesn't matter.
We're actually joking yesterday. I wonder who the person is going to be, possibly a Gruul Prowess player,
Yeah.
that plays the least amount of games this weekend.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding.
Sure.
So Preacher of the Schism getting a little help there from his vampire friends, as Kenta is the lower life total. But the turn is passed back, only 1 mana open for Kenta. He needs to be able to deal with these birds soon, or he's going to be a little dead.
Yeah, and if Kenta had a cut down or something like that, Kenta would have fired it off right away because it just can get invalidated so quickly. So Derrick should pretty much know that all systems are clear to go if he wants to try to piece together some kind of lethal line. And looks good here to kind of fire it off now. Not a lot of pump spells in hand, still just the 1 shock and some more creatures, but
Attack with the
could
1-2.
piece together a decent amount of damage.
13. Yes. Second.
Just 1 paltry little damage now from the Slick Shot show-off.
Activate value trigger. So spear.
Going to target the mouse just to get the extra counter on it with a land, and then another creature hits the board here for Derrick. So this is looking dangerous.
I really like the inclusion here from Kenta to play the Azure Beastbinder. It's been doing some actually solid work here at just shutting off the prowess ability of these Slick Shot show-offs. So only one of them is really impactful on the next turn. A card we definitely do not see in all these Dimir decks.
Definitely.
Kind of an outlier, but some spice. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, this deck is pretty sweet that we've seen from Kenta here. You know, playing the new Kaito Bane of Nightmares. Maria mentioned Nightmares. He's going to be quite the nightmare to deal with. But as it stands, Kenta's doing a decent job of shutting down at least one of the Air Force that Derrick Davis has.
Yep, and Kaito is in hand here, so these 3 attackers, you do have the ability to get some stuff going. And Derrick's going to read this new land here. We'll kind of check it out.
It's not a new land.
Well, I mean, it's a land that we don't see a lot of. Drannith Ruins, being
Yeah,
able
true.
to put 2 +1/+1 counters on target non-human creature that entered the battlefield this turn. So that works pretty well with Ninjutsu as well. You need a little bit more mana for that to happen, but a nice little utility land from this Dimir deck.
Block here on the Beastbinder. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or more, so this 1/3 body will be able to
You go to 12.
prevent
You go to 16. Yes.
some of the damage coming in.
Yep.
And the life gain putting in work as well here for Kenta.
Yeah, the life game, when you can put 2 counters on your 1/1 life linker, all of a sudden, this is a real thing that these Gruul decks have to deal with as it's kind of a build-your-own Baneslayer type
Where's
aspect here.
Screaming Nemesis when you need it?
Yeah, right.
Let's see if Derrick can find it.
So Kenta's just whole plan here is just make these vampires, these lifelink creatures, put 2 counters on it, and then use your 2 mana for something else.
So gross.
Really like
I
this
really like it,
strategy.
yeah. This is sweet.
Yeah, and this kind of matchup here, we see this really interesting take here on Dimir. You know, Derrick Davis is not going to have a ton of experience playing against this style of deck, but Kenta's going to have a ton of experience playing against Derrick Davis's deck.
Oh, for sure.
So that's just the disadvantages you have when you play the best deck in the format. Everyone knows what you're doing, and everyone knows how to beat you.
Yeah, they should definitely have a plan coming in
Exactly.
for Gruul Prowess this weekend, so.
Yeah, they'll have a plan, and we'll just see if it actually works.
All right. Derrick Davis passing the turn back to Kenta Harane on taps. A land, shoot the sheriff, Another land in hand now, and Kaito Bane of Nightmares.
So Kenta has a nice turn here where he can go ahead and attack with all these things. Ninjutsu Kaito if you want to. It looks like we're just going to play it instead and then still put the counters on. But Kaito being able to just ice down a creature here looks way too tempting.
Stun counters on
Go to 11.
one of the creatures.
Really liked how Kenta played that. Just waited to play Kaito until he had the ability to have another removal spell to play around one of the 2 Snakeskin Veils.
Nice. So just 2 Emberheart challengers in hand now for Derrick Davis. Our little Beast Binder able to turn the Burb into just a 2/2. Another Vampire enters. This one won't be able to get the counters this time, as Kent is tapped out. But yeah, things looking good here for Dimir midrange.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Dimir midrange, we're going to see a lot of this deck. And Dimir midrange is kind of this very good, almost rock-style deck. It's able to play great removal, some of the best creatures, and then you can pivot to a bunch of duresses, a bunch of negates in your sideboard for more controlling and ram-style decks. It just has good game against everything.
Corey, explain rock, please.
Explain right. Well,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it is a Golgari strategy most of the time, but playing creatures, playing a lot of removal, kind of a mid-range style deck.
Alrighty. All right. Tough decision here now for Derrick Davis. Doesn't have any instance to be able to cast here to protect these creatures. So we are going to see a birdie down. This is dangerous territory indeed. I don't think Derrick's getting out of this one.
I don't think so either. These life linkers being able to be boost up to 3/3s instead of 1/1s make it from a okay blocker that gets to gain you a little bit of life to just serious threats that these Gruul decks just can't race. When you don't have cards like the Ley Line to be able to double your spells and stuff.
Yeah, and you can see the shake of the head there from Derrick. He's not happy with how things have turned out here.
Yeah, and that is a bit of the problem with these Gruul Prowess decks. You're going to see the deck just really needs to draw a good mixture of creatures and pump spells. So if you draw way too many creatures, well, they're just kind of understated creatures. And if you draw way too many pump spells, well, then you don't have the creatures to put them on. So that's the disadvantage of the Gruul decks, is you do get a good, consistent draw from them.
Yeah, you definitely do. You know, ideally you have, a win in your opening hand.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always play out that way. And the longer the game goes, the more of an advantage that the Dimir mid-range decks.
Exactly, and you have cards like Questing Druid, the Seek the Beast side to be able to get some extra card advantage, but Derrick is only playing 2. That's kind of the thing that most Gruul players have not really agreed on.
Yeah.
There's some players playing 4, some 0, some 2. It's really all over the place on what the correct number of that card is.
Heartfire Hero hits the board here for Derrick. Manifold Mouse, Monstrous Rage, Innkeeper's Talent, Might of the Me, Questing Druid, like you mentioned, and Torch the Tower. So that's quite a few, labels to go there. But yeah, oh, okay, all right, a final land. It's fine. Nobody panic. I mean, I'll probably keep it 1/2, just saying. But
Derrick was panicked, I'll tell you that. But drawing that second land, his hand all of a sudden looks amazing here. Where it's not over if you don't hit your second land in this style of Gruul deck because your mana value, your average mana cost is very, very low, but definitely stifles your ability to be able to multi-spell.
another Carplusian Forest, allowing Derrick options, which I'm sure he would love to have going into game number 2 here. Down a game. Wants to get this game back here from Kenta Harane.
So Kenta has the ability to counter this or just deal with the creature. Now, if there was something like a Snakeskin Veil, Kenta is just so punished by going for the removal spell because then this powerful enchantment hits the battlefield as well. But that is something we're going to be seeing a lot of this weekend, is Innkeeper's Talent targeting one of your mice to gain that Valiant ability every single turn for no mana. It's going to be very, very good and something to look out for throughout the standard rounds here at the World Championship.
Kind of like the green Luminarch Aspirant, but a little less susceptible to damage.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, that card was dominant, you know, and this card really is. It seemed like this card was going to be a combo card, you know, in some of the Gruul decks, this with Vraska, you get to win the game right away. That stuff ended up just being a little bit too cute, but just triggering Valiant every turn with this card ended up being absolutely incredible.
Down to 15 goes Kenta. No creatures to speak of on the board just yet. Turn 3, though, we're going to see Preacher of the Schism once again. Pretty good blocker, and yeah, he's going to bring in his vampire army.
Yep, absolutely. 4 toughness as well is very tough for a lot of decks to deal with, especially the Gruul decks. You just have Torch the Tower to be able to deal 3. Not ideal here, and here is the combo, the Manifold Mouse, to be able to give this double strike or trample. I imagine we went double strike, though.
I think so.
Good 9.
Oh, 6 damage coming in there. Down to 9, but Kenta was in a pretty similar position last game, and we saw once he attacked with his Preacher, things got out of hand really, really quickly.
Yeah, but here is a little bit of the cost here from Kenta with playing lands like Drannith Ruins.
17.
Kenta would have loved to have that be a
Yeah.
black source and go double removal spell, or even play Shieldred,
yeah.
everybody's favorite 4-drop.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Yeah, but instead, you know, Kenta doesn't really have the ability to just put counters on that Vampire. He's just too far behind. Has to hold up a removal spell or the ability to play this Enduring Curiosity.
So, passing the turn back, not going to put the counters on
Cards.
the Vampire.
Fine.
5 cards in hand. Question from Derrick Davis. He's got a pretty decent looking hand as it stands, you know. Some ways to get card advantage with the Questing Druids, Seek the Beast, Monstrous Rage, and Torch the Tower to potentially deal with.
Yep, now Derrick is just going to try to do the best he can to
move
play
to
around
combat.
1 removal spell.
Yeah.
With only 1 black source, he knows he doesn't have to play around both, so
Attacks.
we'll see
4
where
blocks.
he put the
Take
mouse
pain,
ability.
Torch here. 16.
So attacked first and then dealt with this. And now has the Monstrous Rage as well. So basically this is Derrick Davis saying you basically have to deal with the
Heartfire
large
Hero?
creature,
Yeah.
the Heartfire Hero. And then I wouldn't be shocked if we gave double strike to the Manifold Mouse to kind of present 2 gigantic threats.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, flashing an Enduring Curiosity. And then we're going to see the Monstrous Rage. Is that enough?
15.
It depends where he put double strike. If you put it on the Heartfire
16
Hero,
minus
yes,
3
but I
is
didn't
13
exactly
plus 1,
hear what
14.
he said on that.
It's 5 from this, plus 3 from this.
Okay, use the land as well.
Yes.
So 5 plus 3, that is 8.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Double strike trample.
Oh, okay, double strike trample. So he did target that for double strike, so that should be
Yep.
all it.
That's it, yes. So Derrick Davis picking up game number 2 there. A much, much better better opening hand there
Yeah.
to be able to just keep up with what Kenta was doing.
Now, this is what we're going to be seeing a lot of from here, from the standard portion. If the games end very quickly like that, 90% of the time it's going to be the Gruul decks winning.
Sure.
So if you see a game where we're in turn 7, turn 8, that's probably pretty bad news for
Yeah.
any of the Gruul players, especially when you're up against Dimir.
So a couple extra lands in hand here for Derrick Davis. A couple pieces of removal. Not all too many targeted spells for the creatures that he does have in hand, as your Beastbinder hits the board here for Kenta, and he does have 3 pieces of removal. Shoot the Sheriff, cut down, go for the throats, as well as the Preacher.
Yeah, that is kind of exactly what you want here from Kenta, being able to have 1 good threat that gains you value
Yeah.
over and over with the Preacher. We also see the Beastbinder, which is perfectly fine. We saw it do some good work game 1, and then just back it up with removal after removal. That's
19.
That's how these Dimir mid-range decks win the game.
Preacher again. Can he get it done in this game for Kenta Harane?
So we do have one of our sideboard cards, though, Scorching Shot here from Derrick Davis to be able to deal with Preacher. This is mainly for Shieldred as well. Like, you absolutely have to deal with that card. Just like previous standards, shocking to everyone at home that you still have to deal with Shieldred.
Unbelievable.
And just as I said that, Shieldred was summoned to Kenta's hand, where if he's able to pick up a land for that, this would be extremely bad news here from Derrick Davis, but doesn't look like we have it.
But importantly for Derrick, Preacher of the Schism is taken care of, so we won't see any increasing advantage over there. As your Beastbinder is going to attack and basically shut off the ability of the little mouse.
Yep. So gets rid of that ability when it dies. You know, it is
17.
just a 2/2 at this point. Can't block, so is able to deal with both creatures. Derrick doesn't mind that much, as he has Plenty more mice where that came from.
Two removal spells being fired off, taking care of the 2 creatures that Derrick Davis had available to him, but no damage being dealt off of the Hardfire Hero.
And here's the power of this Gruul Prowess deck. Like, look at what that Might of the Meek just did right there. It was 1 mana to give a creature +2/+0, draw 2 cards. Because you got to play the land off the top. Now, there's scenarios where that doesn't work as perfectly, but right there, that just looked beautiful, and that really shows just how much synergy this Gruul deck has.
Yeah. Disfigure now on the stack. Monstrous Rage in response.
Looks like it.
Just giving him an extra toughness to keep him alive. Nope, and that's going to take care of that. Go for the throat. Kills the other creature on the board here. So Kenta doing a very good job of keeping mice off the board. He's the exterminator at this point.
Yeah, it really is. And yeah, this is looking great because now Derrick Davis is flooding out. And the thing is, when Kenta starts to flood out, there's plenty of ways that he can use his mana. When the Gruul deck floods out, you just get to cry.
14. Yeah.
But hey, this mouse is doing its bestest, but oh boy, now we have to deal with Shieldred, the Apocalypse.
12.
And this is a card that it is very strange to me as we've lost, you know, a lot of sets that Shieldred isn't just the most powerful card ever, but it's actually not amazing against these Gruul decks.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to see it kind of take over now, but it's not at the best spot in the metagame, so we don't see a ton of Shieldreds here in really any lists. 3 in the sideboard here from Kenta, but none in the main.
Yeah. No targeted spells able to give Derrick a little extra look on top of the library there, but now we're going to see Shieldred just dominate here alongside. Oh, and Enduring Curiosity.
No blocks.
Whee!
Now
Cards, cards, cards.
How about 2 cards and 4 life?
Good grief.
Not bad. We do have the Torch the Tower, though, so Derrick did have the option to sacrifice one of his mice to deal with the Curiosity full stop.
Yeah, and prevent the card draw and the extra life, but now it just looks like it's slipping away here from Derrick.
And it looks like Kenta didn't play a land, which is kind of interesting there.
Toxic Shores Island, go for the throat. Okay. Hardfire Hero joins the fray here alongside the Emberheart Challengers. Torch the Tower, you could target one of your own creatures.
Yeah.
Try and get some cards off the top of the library. You know, that might be, you know, last-ditch effort for Derrick Davis at this point.
Yeah, not great. One thing that he can at least do here is block with the hero on Shieldred, Torch the Tower. Oh, no, yeah, you can only sacrifice...
Artifacts.
Yeah.
Enchantments and tokens.
Yeah, so can't sacrifice the actual creatures here. So Torch the Tower not looking great. You can sacrifice the rolls, stuff like that, to be able to get its full value.
Big things here now for Derrick. Can he take care of Shieldred?
Yeah, and this is just really showing how well this Dimir deck top decks in comparison to the Gruul deck. Like, Kenta drew a card that is going to draw him 4 cards over the course of 2 turns, and Derrick Davis drew a 1-mana 1/1.
Woo! That's not where you want to be as the Gruul Prowess deck.
6.
Plenty of exchanging of resources there. The cat comes back as an enchantment.
20,
back to starting life total. Oh boy. This is like, you know, worst case scenario for the Gruul deck.
Definitely. Well, so far, this Dimir deck having a good plan against Gruul.
Yeah.
It's looked very effective. Play good, powerful creatures that gain advantage turn after turn, and kill every creature on your opponent's side of the battlefield. Looks like a nice plan against the most played deck in the metagame.
Just the turn passing back. 2 Hardfire Heroes on the board. Nowhere to run. Yeah, that's appropriate. Anoint with Affliction and a negate, so more critters off the board with negative effects, preventing any damage, and that is going to be the handshake extended. Kenta Harane picking up a win.
Yep, picking up the win.
Portion. That's pretty good.
And I got to say, that Dimir deck looks awesome.
It does.
I would be feeling great if I'm Kenta here, just, you know, having 2 extremely strong games up against the most played deck in the field. And it just looked like an absolute blast to play as well. So good job, Kenta.
GG's to Kenta there. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more from Standard at World Championship. Welcome back to World Championship 30 here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We are in the standard portion of the tournament. It is day one. You've only missed 3 rounds of limited, but I recommend you go back and watch them because there were some spicy decks indeed. And we're about to see 2 more, Corey.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 spicy formats. There was 3 spicy rounds already. And that was a really, really nice first match here of Standard. Both formats are just so good. This is going to be such an incredible tournament.
We are having a great time here. Jean-Emmanuel Depraz is as well our defending world champion. It's going up against Marcus Wosner next. It's 2 Gruul decks, but one of them being the most played. The other one is in the other category.
So remember when I was talking about there was only 12 red ley lines being played here? Well, JED is one of them. So hard to argue with Jean-Emmanuel Depraz's deck choices, as the last time he was playing in this tournament, well, he won it all with a deck that also people were not really saying was a good deck anymore. As for Legends, for anyone remembered that. And this was the list, this version of Gruul is a list that is like not really played as much, and here is the namesake card. So we'll see if JED was right.
Oh, let's go. This
now,
is so fun.
You can win as soon as turn 2 here from Jean-Emmanuel Depraz, so we need to buckle up. This could be a dicey turn.
All right, so we need pump spells and we need Catalyst Cell Sword, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean,
okay.
Not much you need here.
Oh, land? No? All right, Might of the Meek first. Going to draw a card. Going to target it twice. Draw 2 cards. Yeah.
This is already awesome. Just being able to have 1 mana, draw 2. And pump this up, even if we don't have that miracle.
I mean, it's not Ancestral Recall, but it'll do.
Close enough.
Yeah. Right, land down. Do we have? Oh, okay. All right. Just Snakeskin Bill. Just, you know, couple counters there. Sure. Make it enormous.
Take 6. Turn 2. You know, I mean, this isn't the extremely. You know, win the game on turn 2 plan, but look at how difficult that creature is to deal with already. And Marcus's deck is a spicy take here on Gruul Delirium. Has a couple of obliterating bolts though. If he's able to find that right here, that would be huge.
That would be ideal indeed. Like I sincerely hope Marcus kept a hand with removal in it. So let's see if we have that now.
He doesn't play a lot of removal for what it's worth. There's like the 2 obliterating bolts. And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Marcus's deck is kind of an all-in aggressive deck as well, just a different take on the deck.
Yeah, Keen-Eyed Curator hits the board here. This is kind of the card that people touted as the new Scavenging Ooze.
Sure. I saw JED doing some math with his finger there. I'd be terrified if I was sitting across
It's
from him.
always terrifying when he does that. Slick shot show off. Okay, swing it in. What do we got here? Monsters Rage. And we're done. Next game.
Yep.
I had to have a chuckle because I follow JD on Twitter.
Yep.
And he said, turn 4. What turn 4? And posted a picture of this list.
Well, that summed it up here for
Yeah.
his first game of the tournament, winning the game on turn 3. Really incredible stuff. Being able to choose different targets with Leyline of Resonance is awesome. So that Monstrous Rage gets the roll on. Oh my goodness. Two of them.
What?
Okay, now the turn 2 looks a lot, well, I was going to say a lot more likely, but without a turn 1 creature, it will not be possible.
That is so funny. I mean, he does essentially have a 5-card hand now, so, but
Yeah.
he didn't have to pay 8 mana for those 2 things, which is nice, right?
The nice thing about Leyline of Resonance is even if you have one Might of the Meek, later on you basically unmulligan. You draw those 2 cards back thanks to the Leyline, so.
I do like this deck from Marcus, this Gruul Delirium, because it kind of feels like Duskmourn constructed. You know, Patchwork Beastie, we got a Violent Urge in there, Wildfire, Wickerfolk. There's a bunch of cards from Duskmourn in this deck. And Fear of Missing Out.
Fear of Missing Out is one of the cards that's just been the best, one of the best cards from this set.
Yeah.
You know, it's making impacts in basically every format, all the way down to Modern. So it makes sense that this is going to have some home here.
All right.
There's a plot.
Okie dokie, we're going to get a free birdie next turn. We could see another turn 3 win.
And this is really smart by JED, because if you cast this straight away, there's a lot of sorcery speed removal from Marcus, where you do not want to...
Yeah.
oh my.
Yeah, it's lethal. It's more
boy.
than lethal.
He's got the Violent Urge this time. Wildfire, Wickerfolk, let's go.
Marcus just said, yeah, it's lethal.
What?
Wow, welcome to Standard here.
Game 2.
Close games.
What's going on, Corey?
I'm loving this.
This is my cup of tea.
I mean, if you can get Delirium that quickly, and
That was
then
nuts.
Fear of Missing Out gives you that second attack.
Yeah, whatever your biggest creature is,
Yeah.
go again. Good lordy, that was fast. Hey, did it again. Oh, I hope he's keeping track of how many, you know, pre-game effects he has.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's no settling in for any of us here.
No.
These games have been, we have played 6 total turns in 2 games so far.
That's so cool.
Unreal.
Hey, Corey, you want to go jam this matchup later?
Yeah, I think so. I need to play this. This is great.
It's so fun. Might of the Meek, Leyline, counter, draw. Why not?
So no extremely fast draw here from JED. That is decent. You definitely want to have that creature on turn 1. So that leads me to believe that JED did top deck that.
Little Mouse got bolted, unfortunately. Plenty of removal in the sideboard for Marcus. Has the Torch the Tower and Obliterating Bolt, as well as a couple other extra goodies there, depending on the matchup. Hardfire Hero hits the board again.
Okay, just a creature in past. Not amazing here for Jean-Emmanuel. Let's see if Marcus can get ahead on the battlefield here a little bit. I see not many lands here, so this Fear of Missing Out is probably going to try to find land number 3.
Just that Wickerfolk in the bin. There's a land.
Perfect. You got to discard a card that has 2 types, so you're pretty close to Delirium.
Send out Scout, Explore. Can make our Fear of Missing Out a little bigger.
Yep.
If we do not find land, but there was land on top, so boo.
This is a spicy deck that Marcus cooked up.
Yeah.
We'll definitely say this one's in the other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I also love this. We said this about Pioneer in previous events. Like,
Yep.
It's great when you can take, I don't know, a pet deck or an iteration of one of the most popular metagame decks and just have success with it. And Marcus, you know, he's holding his own against the top deck of the tournament.
Absolutely.
Against the reigning world champion.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
that's pretty sweet.
Absolutely. Yeah, and especially at the World Championship, like, there's a risk. You know, if you bring a deck like this and all of a sudden you realize, like, oh, dang, my deck sucks, you know, halfway through the tournament, it's too late. You already built this deck for, you know, the biggest tournament of the year. But if you get it right, you really get it right, and it pays off. And to be determined if Marcus did or not.
Send out Scout. Fear of Missing Out. He's going to block.
Now this could be fireworks.
Yeah, there's 4 mana open, excuse me.
Oh.
So I'm not sure how many cards JD has in hand, but I'm pretty sure he's got a couple. Oh, he's counting again.
I'd be like, please stop counting,
Or it's
Jean-Emmanuel.
Morse code being like, just GG Morse code.
There, yeah, there you go.
Ooh, Monster's Rage, okay.
So now this doubles it, so it's not +6 because you only get one of the rolls.
Yeah, just one roll.
So it is still +5.
+5 on a
+5 +1.
What, is it a 4/4 now? No, this is the first time it's been targeted.
Yeah.
The other one had to capture.
So we'll have 3 toughness right now.
Oh, goodness me. Oh, that hurts so much.
Oh my.
What is this game? Turn inside out twice. So he's the right side around again, right?
Oh, so this is amazing. JED targeted his own creature, but also targeted Marcus's creature, so his creature would die, and then he could finish the last points of damage off by it dying.
If a single target is the creature I control, I can copy it, but I
on
can
any
choose target.
You gotta be kidding me. That's so cool. Oh my
Wow.
grief, JED.
Just dealt 20 damage in one turn. I mean, this is the explosiveness with Leyline.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, JED
so cool.
did have 4 total Leylines in play over the course of 3 games. The deck looks a lot different when you don't have Leyline, you know? Because if you ever draw your Leylines, you know, turn 1, turn 2 or whatever, it looks really, really bad. It's basically a blank. But JD had some great draws and, yeah, made for some exciting magic there. That was awesome.
That was so cool. I want to watch that again. You know, we'll probably have time before the next match gets underway here, but we are going to go and check out one more game for you, friends. It is going to be Shuhei Nakamura up against Simon Nielsen. Can Shuhei, Japanese Hall of Famer, derail Simon Nielsen? Just a little bit, you know, like just a little bump in the road for him here.
I mean, so far, every time we say, yeah, this person has a good matchup against Simon, Simon proves us wrong and ends up, you know, absolutely dominating here. So 2 legends of the game here going at it. This is going to be an exciting match.
Oh, and Simon playing Demons. We're joining them in game 3, so both players 1 apiece. We're just going to get the correct game up for you in a second, friends, so just bear with us. So talk to me about this Dimir Demons deck.
Yeah, so Simon, I talked to him at the player party yesterday, and he was on Jeskai Convoke for the longest time.
Yeah?
So he spent, what he said, 95% of the time just testing that deck. But he said this deck we think is broken. We think this deck is broken here from Simon, so he decided to play the Dimir Demon deck that basically most of the team played. It's kind of a cool combo deck. You have Doomsday Excruciator to be able to put that into play, and then if you have Jace the Perfected Mind, only at 2 loyalty, that's all you need.
Yeah.
You put their library at 6 cards, and then you just mill them out for the final 6 cards.
Alrighty, give us a quick second, friends. We are going to jump into this game as soon as we get the gremlins out the system. They just like to chew on wires. What can I say?
There you go. Well, honestly, that
puppies.
first match was so short with JD.
Yeah.
We're like, let's run it back. We
Yeah,
can see
we
that
could just.
again.
I mean,
that was awesome.
I did say that. I apologize to anyone in the back there who thought, okay, yeah, let's watch that. My bad. So, yeah, we are going to see Dimir Demons versus Dimir Midrange. So, very different builds, though. Both Dimir, but similar-ish.
So looking at Shuhei's list, it looks oddly close to Kenta's.
Yeah.
I would assume this looks exactly like the same list. Yep, even down to the 3 Shieldred. So looks like the exact 75 that Kenta played. Up against kind of the more over-the-top version with the Demon deck. So the more consistent deck from Shuhei, but kind of the flashier one that has the bit of the combo finish.
Corey, I have a question.
Yes.
Caustic Bronco is in this deck?
Yeah.
There are 6 and very, very, very big creatures in this. That's going to hurt, right?
I'm not going to lie. We went over this deck, and I had to go ask all the players that are playing this. And I'm like, the Caustic Bronco, it's very hard to saddle this card. You can flip over Unholy Annex and Ritual Chamber and take 8.
8?
8.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
There's actually no way to saddle this card up on turn 3 from Simon. So I asked Simon, I was like, what's with the Bronco?
Why is it in the deck?
It looks weird. And he's like, it draws a card, Corey. And I'm like, you got it. My work here is done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, we like card draw and all, but there's plenty of it otherwise, right?
Yeah, but it makes sense. And he also said most of the time it just dies. It's a removal magnet, so it's still kind of good in that slot.
If I was Shuhei, I'd be like, yeah, I'm just going to leave that there. Let's see what happens. But no Caustic Bronco just yet, but we do have Deep Cavern Bats getting that Anoint with Affliction out of Simon Nielsen's hand. So yeah, let's get back to Shuhei's turn with 2 lands up here for Simon Nielsen.
So Simon passes with a couple of removal spells, so more than likely we're going to see Simon either fire off a removal spell now or wait.
Yep. Cut down, takes care of the bat, gets the Anoint back. Oh, I'm just going to bat you again. Oh, cool.
Okay.
All right. Unholy Annex taken away. I mean, that's a card advantage engine, and that only hits you for 2 if you don't have a demon.
Yep, and Shuhei's, instead of playing the Unholy Annex, the Demon Synergies, is just playing Preacher of the Schisms.
Sure.
Just the powerful creatures that are just good cards on their own. Unholy Annex does need a little bit of help. Of course, it's very good if you can just play it on 3, but you're going to lose some life, but you do need to pair it with a demon at some point. Otherwise, it will kill you.
Yeah. And for anyone curious about this version of the Demons deck, it's not running the Unstoppable Slasher and the Bloodletter of Aklazot's finish, which we've seen quite often.
Yeah.
The last little while.
Neither of the players decided to play Slasher, which is, you know, a little wild, a little surprising because, well, when that card connects, it deals 11. I mean, that's just incredible. But turns out, you know, just dealing 11 isn't good enough. You need to be able to interact with a lot of creature decks. And everyone has the Gruul Prowess deck on their mind. You have to interact. You have to interact. And the Gruul Prowess decks can just trample over the Slasher, no problem.
As things stand now, we are going to Anoint with Affliction, get back this room for Simon Nielsen. Another bat down.
And decided to do it main phase to make sure this wouldn't get countered.
Yeah.
And it looks like Shuhei has land number 4.
And another bat.
And another bat or an Enduring Curiosity in hand. So had the option to just say go, play that powerful 4-drop, but decides not to.
Wow. Simon's hand is just getting ripped apart here. Like, sure, he's dealing with a bat each time, but
yeah,
it's just like, okay, this is definitely a roadblock in terms of I'm going to get this game won quick.
Yeah, it's not amazing just bat after bat when Simon just has so much removal. Yeah. Sure, Shuhei gets to keep looking at Simon's hand, but you keep getting the card back, so it's a little bit of a roadblock as Simon will just eventually deal with all these bats and then start deploying threats. And it looks like he doesn't even care to deal with the bat this time around. And this is kind of the window for Shuhei to be able to go Enduring Curiosity, draw an extra card off the bat, and see if Simon does have a cut down, which I don't think he does. Oh, he drew it off the Annex. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no.
You know, I guess
down, no card for you.
Whenever you're playing this good as Simon and you're also getting a little lucky to draw cards when you want to, how do you stop this man?
You know, people say rather lucky than good. Well, Simon just happens to be both. So.
Yeah. Insert why not both meme.
Why
for sure.
not both? Yeah, Ritual Chamber now making the 6/6 demon. Let's see if Shuhei has a way to deal with that. One of the other funny things I realized is that there's 4 Duress main deck for Simon, and he hasn't seen one yet, I don't think.
Could have easily sided some out. You know, there's a lot of creatures in this Dimir mid-range deck. I wouldn't think he sided all of them out.
Yeah.
And there's a chance he doesn't side any of them out. But it's just really important to clear the way for Unholy Annex and your demons to come into play, because if you have this Unholy Annex, you play the 6/6 demon and it dies to a Go for the Throat, you're taking damage every turn where that clock can actually, you know, deal you a ton of damage. And then if you Bronco into one of these cards and you take 8, you know, it could be a really quick game.
Yeah. Then the Bronco don't look so good. But as things stand, the big old demon's going to swing in for 6 to Shuhei Nakamura. And we are going to flash in another former world champion and another former world champion. And both of them are going to die because 2 Go for the Throats from Simon Nielsen. Get those fairies out of here.
Yeah, and that was with the Annex on the stack. So Shuhei was trying to draw a card as well. And
oh, my goodness.
Now with Shuhei just with 2 cards in hand, it is just looking really, really great for our reigning player of the year.
It sure is. That was sick. It's like deja vu all over again. I'll just kill it more. Shuhei's going to go down to 4 here if he doesn't have removal or a blocker.
I was talking to Simon yesterday. There's a duress fired off. I was talking to Simon yesterday at the player party, and he was just like, it's a weird feeling to know that I could go 0-7 tomorrow and still be player of the year. And I was like, come on, Simon.
It is kind of weird, yeah.
I was like, come on, Simon. You're not going 0-7. He's like, I don't know. I'm not really that prepared. I don't feel as prepared this time around.
Hasn't he said that every single time?
You know, I think he does. I think he does. Whatever he's doing is working, though, so I wouldn't argue with his formula.
Yeah, no. Deadly cover-up is going to take care of our little kitty here, Enduring Curiosity. So no more extra cards there for Shuhei. They'll join the other in exile.
And this looks to be a spicy one-of here from
yeah, it is.
Simon's
Just
side. So a really nice card here, being able to deal with the Curiosities straight away. And now all of a sudden, like, Shuhei doesn't have the best ways to actually just win the game. Like,
yeah.
Win the game with bats and
I saw Simon
creatures and stuff.
show off Kaito there as he was shuffling his deck. So maybe he's thinking like, yeah, that's probably the way he wins.
All right.
Looks like we're...
And this Unholy Annex has just ran away with this game. Like, even though he's losing some life, it just kind of doesn't matter as you just see these Dimir mid-range decks, you know, even though they're 2 different decks, Dimir Demon, Dimir mid-range, it's all about card advantage here.
Yeah, for sure.
Your life total is a resource.
The more you have to work with, like, the better time you're going to have.
Yep.
Okay.
Excellent
3
card
steps
there.
ahead. Which mode did we pick? Tap for 5. We countering and drawing, perhaps. Archfiend of the Dross will hit the board. It's going to get some counters on it.
And now this is a lethal threat, plus the Annex deals Shuhei 2 damage. So one last draw step for Shuhei.
I mean, what do you find in this situation? I don't think there's any answer for Shuhei Nakamura, who cannot slow down Simon Nielsen. Good grief.
Unreal. 3-0's the draft with that absolutely incredible Rakdos deck. Picks up the first win in Constructed as one of the 7 or so undefeated players already. Like, he can't be stopped, Ailey.
We call Kai the German Juggernaut. Is he like, what, the Danish Destroyer or something?
That's
I'm sure
good.
someone else can find a better name for him, but at this rate, he needs a nickname, people.
I think that's going to be trending after this. The Danish Destroyer. That's pretty good.
Unbelievable stuff there from Simon. We're going to see plenty more of him, no doubt, but after this, you're going to see Maria at the desk.